So do you want to learn how to compose a seascape? Well, you're going to see Cindy Barron. She's the best. She's just the best. She's going to compose a seascape, and she's an incredible artist. And she's, of course, an incredible watercolorist and an incredible oil painter. And you're going to get a chance to learn from her and how she does seascapes. And so this is going to be a red letter day for you. So hang in there. Today, we are going to give away a digital subscription to Plein Air Magazine for your comments. And all you got to do is leave a comment, tell us where you're from, and then we will pick from the comments. Sound like a plan? All right, let's get going.
It's Art School Live with Eric Rhodes. Now, here's your host, Eric Rhodes.
Welcome to Art School Live. Eric Rhodes here from Fine Art Connoisseur Plein Air Magazine, and we are happy to have you here today, or happy to have you anywhere, quite frankly. Lunchtime is always a good time to take a break if you happen to be in the East. If you're somewhere else, well, thank you for watching wherever you are, whatever time it is in your time zone. We have an international audience. I'm sure we'll have people from all over the world today. So today is going to be a perfect day because Cindy Barron is going to be giving you some incredible instruction. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you about how she revolutionized my painting in about, about 20 minutes. So you hang in here for that. We have 97 amazing secrets, art secrets from 50 of our top artists. As you know, we create hundreds of art instruction videos at streamline.art. And this one is 5 hours and you can get it for free. It's 97artsecrets.com. Just go there and pick up this video. And if you want the DVD, I think you pay the shipping. Otherwise, you can stream it right away and get it for free. The winner of the apron from yesterday is Zirka Hayes. And so she's winning the plein air apron. So anyway, that's terrific. Now let's get right to Cindy Barron. Hey, Cindy.
Hey. Hi, everyone.
Now you're in where, Rhode Island?
I'm in Rhode Island.
All right.
Very stormy Rhode Island today.
Okay, well, good. Well, let's hope the internet doesn't go out. So I just want to tell people and give you a little prop on this. Cindy Barron was out doing an instructional video for us not too long ago, maybe 2-3 months ago. And after the video shoot, she came into my studio and I asked her to critique a painting. And she showed me some tips, actually tips that she taught on the video. And 3 or 4 little tips completely changed. I changed my palette. I changed everything after, 20, 25 years, I suppose. And you're going to get a lot out of this today. So thank you for that, Cindy.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad it worked. We all have something to contribute, so I'm glad it worked.
Yeah, well, I still have to learn to paint, but at least I know the techniques.
You can paint. You're fine. You can paint.
I hear somebody else laughing in the background.
Is he? I don't know.
No, maybe not. The world famous Bill Davidson is there with you, I understand.
Yeah, he's downstairs, so if he starts singing.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why COVID was good, because you had separation from all that.
Yes. Yes. COVID was good and bad. You got a lot of work done, but I found out by myself I'm not that exciting. So
well, let's see how exciting you are. I've got you full screen now, and let's go ahead and start your demonstration on how to compose a seascape. Okay.
So first of all, I do my black and white studies, and if you have seen the video, you will know that I'm big into sketching out my studies first. This next step that I'm going to show you will be about what I take from that and my reference photo. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm lightly going to put some Gansaw on my canvas. And now this is about a 12 by 18 canvas.
Right.
So
what kind of canvas is it? Everybody will ask about every brush and every canvas.
Yeah, well, this was about 50 cents at Job Lot. And then this is, I get these from Atlanta Art Solutions, and it's a Belgian linen, and it's a medium between a landscape and a portrait. It's a nice texture to it. It's not too fine weave. It has just enough so you can build up texture. So it's a Belgium linen on gator board.
Now, why are you putting the Gamsol down?
Okay, so one reason why I put the Gamsol down, thanks for saying that, Eric, is because it helps all my colors go onto the canvas. If I had not done this, then it's kind of hard to move the paint on the canvas. It gets tied up. So this allows me to flow my tonal right into the canvas, and it smooths on better. Mind you, getting back to the canvas, this is also universal primed. It's not oil primed. With oil prime, I find that it's too slippery. And if you have oil prime, nothing's wrong with that. Just take a fine grade sandpaper and lightly sand it, and it will help your paint not to slide right off. Sometimes beginners don't understand that. So when it's oil prime, they're going, oh my God, my paint's going all over the place. That's one of the reasons. If you can start out with universal prime or acrylic prime, you might have a better feel of your painting, especially if you're a beginner. I had to learn the hard way. I bought every type of canvas because I just wanted to try it. This is what I found that worked for me.
All right.
So I'm only going to use a few colors here, and I'm going to go right into this. And I'll make sure, and Eric will let me know if I forget something here. But the colors I'm going to put on, the first color I'm going to put on, and I'm going by my sketch, I'm going to bring a lot of the warmth into the foreground. And so one of my favorite colors is transparent red oxide. And because for me, it represents the earth. It represents what we walk on. And so this can be really strong. Once again, my 50-cent brush, it's lost some hairs along the way.
So have you, I understand.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
So now I'm just going by what. So this is how, now, this segment is about composing a seascape. You're going to find this because I already have my sketch, and I'll bring my sketch down from time to time. But let's go right into this in case, we have any questions or I missed something. So this is my favorite color. I love using this color. There's a lot of them, a lot of other colors out there, but this is one of my favorites. Then I'm going to go right into Viridian. And I love this color, and I love the way these two play together. And the reason why it can make some rich, rich color, rich darks, however thick you put it on. So I really like these two playing together. I'm going to rinse my brush out. And I'm just going to go into the Viridian again, and I'm going to go up top. So right now it's about covering the canvas.
You can really hear the weave of that canvas.
Can you? So
Yeah.
it's a happy medium. It's not too rough. It's not too fine. It's really a happy medium.
Okay.
So this is that Viridian once again. Now, depending on what I'm painting is when I use certain colors. And I always start out my toning of basically with these two colors, and then maybe one will be more dominant than the other. But this is how I usually start out. And I just mix those right in there. Now I'm going to go into the cobalt, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of cobalt in there. You see, I'm so random. Nothing is perfect right now, but it's in my head where I want these colors to be. And that's because I did those sketches and I have my references, so I thought this out. So now, Prussian blue, and I like using Prussian blue, especially in ocean scenes. So I'm just going to put a little bit right here because it's strong. I call it a respected color because it's strong and can explode. And I'm going to put a little bit down through here. And the reason why, that's because I know where this color is going to end up. And it's because I did my black and white studies.
Okay. You should show that black and white study before you
Okay.
go too far, because everybody's going to be wondering what the heck you're doing.
Okay. So here is my
Can you
study.
hold it close to the camera? Okay. Bring it to yeah, there we go. All right.
Now,
Wow.
you can also see, this is when I get into the composition. On this side, I got a yes and a no line. I will explain that as I do my composition. I'm not going to explain it now because you'll forget about it. I'll
Right.
explain it as I get to that part.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. Hello, Portugal. Hello, Pakistan. Hello, India. Hello, Milwaukee. That's kind of like a foreign country.
Wow. Yeah, it is. Now,
Norway,
this color
Italy.
is a cobalt teal, and this color can explode like crazy. So, mind you, a little dab will do you.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to put a little bit. Do you see what a little bit? I'm just putting a little bit because I know from my sketch where I want this stuff to be.
All right. We
I
can't really
got
tell from
Davidson in
here.
the house watching too. Okay, now you're going to go. Okay, there's so much color on here.
Hello, Ireland. Hello, England.
I'm going to add some alizarin. You're going to go, wow, that's another powerful color. But
You know what I think we need to do?
what's
I
that?
think we need to get the camera closer to the canvas because we're having a hard time telling what's happening there. Can you do that?
Are we? How is that?
Closer, get as close as you can be comfortable. I know it's difficult.
Well, hold on, everybody. Let me change the legs.
All right. Good.
Okay. Is that better?
Cozumel, Mexico. Yeah, that's better. Move it over to the right just a little bit. There we go.
Is that good?
Okay, good. Thank you.
That actually works better. I can straighten now.
All
Okay, so here we go with the alizarin. And I'm just, for people that are just tuning in right now, they're probably going, what the heck is she doing? But you'll see as I move, as this comes along. So I'm putting a little bit of alizarin in there. I'm going to go back and add a little bit more of my transparent red oxide.
It's kind of like a third grader painting.
Yeah. Now I'm going to take my black and I'm going to add just a little bit of that Hansa yellow medium. So a lot of these colors I'm telling you are a Richardson brand. And so I'm making a little green. And the reason why I'm doing a green is it, for me, it's the neutralizer. There's a lot of strong colors on here, but I just want to neutralize. And you see how I'm putting it on. So if you all can see this, it is very random, very thick and random. So now what I'm going to do is take Kleenex. And the reason why I take a Kleenex is I don't want to remove a lot. If I use the paper towel, it will remove somewhat, more than I want it to remove. So I'm going to take Kleenex. And I'm just going to lightly as I want, blend some of my colors. Now this is what is my toning the canvas. So like I said, depending on the landscape is how these colors are used. But these are mostly my go-to colors on toning the landscape, on this Seascape one. So you can see I'm blending all my colors on here. So it's a beautiful toned canvas.
Somebody asked where you are. I said you're in Rhode Island, right?
Right. I'm in Rhode Island for a little while. I'm going to head west in the fall. So it's very, to be honest, this is very, the color blending is I'm happy with this, and I will go back in and add some more color, but I'm happy with that right now.
It kind of looks like a Turner painting right now. It's very beautiful.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is he the one that would
Yep.
Yes, okay.
He's the one.
Got it. Saw the movie. Okay, so when I go to draw, now I'm composing. When I go to draw, I usually try to start with something closest to me. And
Are you using a rubber tip thingy?
A rubber tip thingy, and I got Q-tips too. So I'm going to use both. So I usually try and start with the closest object. And
Why
the
don't you bring
reason
your
why,
sketch out real quick,
okay.
again, so people can see that. Now we know what you're going to draw. Okay. Whoops. There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
So, and here's my photo. Sorry, my printer was out of ink, but here's the my reference that I'm using.
All right.
So when I start with an object in front, and the reason why I start with an object in front, it's easier for me to scale by the time I get to the back. Sometimes we start with the biggest object. Next thing you know, you can't fit everything in perspective. So that's why I've learned to start with something close up. And then by the time I move around the drawing, everything falls into place because I started with the closest object. Now, I hope that made sense. If it didn't, I can explain it again. So here's this cliff that's the closest. So I'm going to start right there. So that's going to give me an eyeball to how the rest of it will turn out. So this rubber tip thing, I mean, it's great for drawing, and the Q-tips are. I've got Q-tips out here, so I'm known as the Q-tip painter. So I will be bringing those out.
So will you use that as the light on your rocks, or are you going to paint it in later?
You can. I definitely will paint it later, but you definitely can. That's why doing this tonal and these colors that I use is going to leave a really cool brightness. And I'll show you a big one out here that I'm working on that is only gotten this far. And but it gives you a wonderful glow to your painting. So you can see how it's going to turn out later.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's what I love about these colors. Now, mind you, I had a color theory problem, and I had to learn all this on my own because I couldn't figure out why, I wasn't getting what I was seeing in the field. So, I had to figure this stuff out. So this was my best way of doing it. I had to experiment with everything, with surfaces, with paints. I found out that I do not use any mediums. I just use Gansaw.
All right.
So, and it all works for me, but you're not going to know this unless you guys try it. You got to get in the field. You got to try it. You got to find, especially you beginners, what works for you, because you can get deterred and give up. So you don't want to do that. Just experiment. Trust me. I've gone through a lot of canvas, a lot of paint.
Well, that's how you learn. Hello, Tanzania, first timer, and hello, Bangladesh. Welcome. You guys, we're giving away a prize today, a Plein Air Magazine digital edition. Anyone in the world can win it, and just leave comments. You could get a subscription for free.
So I'm just making little random marks here because now I can move my shapes around to where I need. So say this didn't turn out, no big deal. Say this didn't work out. Then all I have to do is, this is the beauty of this, and you can just start all over. So that's why you see the richness on here, and I may put more on, but this is my way of composing.
All right. There's somebody from Estonia watching. Wow, you're a long way away. Thank you.
I have some friends in Serbia, if anybody's on there.
All right. Pakistan, Quebec, a lot of Canadians. You guys should be sharing this if you don't mind. That way others can experience this. I mean, that's so beautiful, just the way it is there. It just glows.
Well, that is these colors that that make that happen.
And the harmony, right? The harmony between the green and the red.
So I found this out basically by my watercolors. I think I mentioned to you before, the white of a paper scares the heck out of me. So this is actually, when I start my watercolors, the whole paper gets covered and I know where to lift up or squirt off or whatever in the first go around. So this is my way of getting rid of that fear of this surface.
Nice, nice. Hello, Scotland.
I see, you can tell I'm moving this up just a little bit. So I still have my starting point right here. So I'm liking that. Okay, so here, when I go back here, there's a nice little island. So I'm actually going to move it a little bit. And then there's some wonderful trees over here that I just want to keep in just for perspective. So I can take you to the background.
All right.
So these trees aren't in it, are not in the reference part at this state. Like if you were painting out there, every now and then I have to move a rock or a tree to make it fit into a composition. So don't be afraid to move objects. So I just moving these trees just a little bit over here. And then here's a nice little island behind here, or another part of the land. And I'm going to cut it off shorter than what my reference photo shows me. Okay, and then I'm going to bring back, all right, so this, I'm going to start right here. So in my reference photo, I'm going to bring up my sketch again. And you see I have these dotted lines because we all can make a mistake. One says yes and one says no. In the reference photo, these two islands back here match up with this line here. So if you were to draw it, you would see that this island back here, I can wipe this out, would match up with this. That's a no-no for a design, for a composition, because you're just going to cut off your painting. So I have chose to shorten the background. Now, mind you, you're the artist, so you can, it's your painting. So I have chose to shorten it.
I do that all the time. I make that mistake constantly.
Well, we all do, no matter how professional you are. And I paint with a mirror behind me, and the mirror, well, it's not up here now, but the mirror will tell me exactly. And I look at it and go, well, I know that. Why'd I do it?
Yeah.
You know, because you can't adhere to your reference photo, you know, to a T. You got to move a few things and change a rock and plant a tree or make a tree grow, give it some miracle grow or something. You have to plan for these what nature has given us. So I'm going to make this rock grow because I plan on having some wonderful white water through here. So once I put all this in, it really gets me excited to work on the painting. So I'm changing a few things. I'm going to bring that up just a little. Now, I'm going to run a rock. Normally, I like to run one off, but if I do it up here, then it's the middle of the canvas. So I'm actually going to run a rock. I'm going to move it a little bit, and maybe it's low tide and it's sticking out a little bit more. But that will help my composition. So now I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to bring out the Q-tips, part of the Q-tip.
Ah, the Q-tips come out.
The
All right.
Q-tips come out. Wait, one more thing.
That's a great idea to draw with one of those rubber things.
Oh gosh, yes. So now this is just the Kleenex, but you can see the hue. Like I've got some of that transparent red oxide, Viridian, and alizarin in here. But when I wipe this off, it leaves such a wonderful feel to the canvas. So that's why at this stage, you may, paint a bunch of paintings like this. And when you get to this stage, you may decide this is what I want. You don't have to go and put on all the other colors or the thicker paint. Excuse me. I didn't say that the right way.
Well, it's coming together. Just amazing. Just from Wipeout.
Yes. And
Oh.
that goes with the colors that I use.
You know, and what it's done is it's doing all the work for you.
It is. And it's what it's also doing is making sure before I put all that thick paint on there that I got my composition right. Because if the composition is not right, no matter how you put that paint on there, it's not going to work out. This is helpful to making your painting a success at the very end. If you get this part right, then the ending result is much better. If I said that the right way.
Thank you. Hello, Hazel in New Zealand. We're going to New Zealand. We're taking a group of artists to New Zealand in March.
This coming March?
Yeah.
Or next March? Wow.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list.
All right, let's go. You could take Bill if you want.
You think he could handle that? I'm not sure.
I don't know, 14-hour flight.
So can you see my shapes coming out? It's hard for me to see, but can you see the shapes of the landscape coming out?
Absolutely.
Q-tips. I'm sticking it in the cam saw because I can get right back to my whites.
Wow.
There's
Everybody should be saying, ooh, ah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a sound I don't want to hear out of Bill.
Yeah.
Somebody asking a question, go to paintingnewzealand.com. That's where we're going to sign up to get notified. We're putting all the details together. I have it in my inbox. I just haven't approved it yet. So it's pretty close to ready to be announced.
Yeah, that's I don't know which part of New Zealand you're going to.
All of it.
Oh, okay.
Not very big.
Well, I know, but I like that part that has all those big grand mountains.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna take a boat and we're gonna sleep on the boat one night to go down and paint in Milford Sound.
Oh,
which is going to be pretty incredible. We're going to be able to stop the boat, get out and paint.
Okay, so my problem with some of that is I tend to want to drive the boat or drive the bus because I like to stop at areas I want to stop at.
Okay, well, we're not letting you do that. You know, that really, really demonstrates how much those values need to come out.
Yes.
I thought they looked really great before, but
no.
So this
So
you're
you're
putting
seeing
in
all my different values, and this is going to be the white of the
water.
It is white. Yes.
Nice. You make this look so easy.
It's not. It's taken me many years, a lot of duds, a lot of learning. We all learn from each other. I learn from my students, as I hope they learn from me. So
Yep.
it's a lot of time. I'm one of those workaholics, as Bill would say. It's hard to make me sit down. I love to paint.
That way you get all that experience in a lot faster time because you're applying yourself more.
Yes, and you know what? If you don't do it, then you have to do it. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You got to put the time in. You got to put the frustration in. You got to learn from your duds. There's no, sometimes we say shortcuts, but the thing is you still have to do it. If you don't put in the time, then it's up to you on where you want to take your art. Let me just put it that way.
I'm just going to show an image of Cindy's. This is the image that she did in her most recent video. This is a sunset, I guess, or sunrise, and it's called Elegant Landscapes. And it really, truly, she shows you how to make things elegant, because what happens is that we tend to get our colors too garish. And Cindy really, and that's one of the things that made a huge difference with me. She just showed me what I was doing wrong. She walked into my studio and saw my painting that I was working on, and immediately said, here's what you need to do.
Well, it's I like it when artists come in my studio too. I have a few artist friends here, Jonathan McPhillips, that we all like to get together, and we have a good time critiquing each other's paintings.
Well, that's a great way to learn.
It is. Absolutely. I'm just putting some darks in right there. So see,
Well, and it's
again.
really important to have that. You've got to have a community around you that can give you feedback. I'm always calling friends and saying, what's wrong with this painting? You work on it so much you can't see it sometimes.
And that's the truth. The mirror will let you know, though. If you get the mirror will, looking at the mirror, it will let you know what you did wrong. It doesn't lie.
Well, I have one of those. I have one of those circus mirrors, so it makes me look thin.
Yeah, Bill's got a special mirror too. I got to get that mirror.
Dennis Marshall says, gator boards, no alligators were harmed in making this product.
Yeah. So I'm defining my shape still. So I hope you can see. It's hard for me. I can't look in the mirror. I'm hoping
So that dark, I want to ask you a question. Usually darks, we put our darks pretty far forward. That dark seems as dark as the one in the foreground. You're doing that obviously
right
to make
there?
the white, to make the white stand out more.
Right. And you just said it right, because I really want your eye to pop. What I want to do, because there's going to be some whites in here, I want to take your eye, it's going to splash up on this rock and around this rock. So this is going to be a little splash, not a big splash, because this is, it won't call for that. But then it's going to catch your eye. It's going to weave through another rock through here, bounce back through here, and then I'm just going to lead you back to the background. This is all going to be fairly a foggy day. So this is all going to be the landscape back here is going to be really muted somewhat, because if you know my paintings, I love to give distance. I love painting distance. So that's going to be muted somewhat. So now, since I did that, can you see some of the values changing even more?
Yeah. Suddenly it feels okay. That's really beautiful. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure that you hit the heart or the like, and please pass it along to other people or leave a comment. Other people get to see it that way.
Oh, I would love to see the heart on there. So you notice I'm just changing a few of my lines a little bit, not much. I go through a lot of Q-tips, especially if this is a large canvas. Now this is where you're going to see where I'm going to have that nice glow on the rocks. By the way, this is Big Sur, California. I'll show you one from Rhode Island in a minute.
All right.
But this is Big Sur.
Remember, you guys, we have a gift for you, 5-hour video. You can get DVD or streaming for free. I think you pay shipping on the video, 5 hours, 97 incredible art secrets. Go to 97artsecrets.com and check that out. You could pretty much leave that alone and it would be done.
Oh gosh, don't I wish I could do that. I could get a whole lot more paintings out there real
I
quick.
mean, it's just very beautiful.
It's taken me many years to find my footsteps also with what I wanted to paint. I'm
Yeah.
a very detailed artist, so when you see my watercolors, I can really get down and dirty with the detail. So it's taken me a while to, I've tried it all. Trust me, I've been out there trying to be painting, very loose. I've tried. People have handed me their big brush and said, put that little one down. I have tried. But Cindy found her voice, and this is what, I love to do. I basically went back to what I loved in high school. I love detail. I love, there's certain parts of a landscape that just draw my eyes in. So as much as I tried everything else, Cindy found her voice in doing this and what I want to say in a painting. But I had to go, once again, you got to do it. You got to get out in the field and find your voice and figure out which is the right way, the way you want to paint. We're all out there to help you. And it's easier for me with my students to, I look at their painting after the painting and I can tell them where they need to go. I can say, oh no, you're really doing a good job with this, being more impressionistic or your color values or whatever. It's easier for someone else to pick that out in your paintings. And for me, like I said, I had to find this and do it. If somebody said, get rid of the small brush, well, guess what? Cindy was going to get a small brush. I tried it all, but I knew where I wanted to go.
So
And
I'm sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
So you're going in nitpicking with your Q-tip, and
Yeah.
once you got through that stage and you got all your Q-tip work done, because we won't have time to go into a lot of detail, what would be next?
Okay. So then I would. I like looking at it with fresh eyes, so I may go eat something, or leave the house, and then come back and look at it. At this stage, I may, after a couple hours, go right back into it and add the darker darks. Add the thicker paint. So I definitely don't wait for it to dry. Sometimes I do, especially if it's a large canvas, and there's a lot of more detail work goes into a larger piece. So then I might wait a day and then maybe tweak the design again the next day, because even if I took this larger, there's certain design things that you can change as you get bigger.
Right.
How much time do I have, Eric?
Oh, we're kind of nudging up against the time to be quitting.
Okay, because I can pull out the other one, a bigger one that I have, and put it on the canvas so everyone can see where I get to with this stage.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea.
You think that would be good?
Yep.
Okay. One more marks here. I'm sorry, I can't give up.
That's all right. We like it.
So now you can see, I hope you can see what's happening here.
Absolutely.
So let me put this other one on the easel.
All right.
And I may have to back this up a little bit because it's been
while she's doing that, I'll just mention that Cindy is going to be teaching on our Watercolor Live virtual conference in January. Some of the world's top watercolor artists, including Cindy. And so make sure you check that out at watercolorlive.com. We have the great Alvaro Castanet and Cindy and others. There's going to be about 30 world-class people from around the world teaching. And we're expecting about 3,500 to 4,000 people to attend. So join us. All right.
Okay. So we just went from East Coast or West Coast to East Coast. So let me fix this camera. And so there is one from my East Coast. And that is what I was just showing you. I just spent more time into it.
Yeah, so you actually did you lay some paint on top of all of that, or was it all subtracted?
But all of this is basically rubbing out. So this would be the next step on that one, but this is still that first tonal. This is still that first, and then I started mixing some colors in there and then laid some sky in. But this is all that, what I was showing you on there, making the cracks in the rock just by, lifting out some paint. And what it was is just taking my Q-tip very lightly and lifting out some colors and then lifting out more on top and creating these cracks. The cracks left by the original part of the tonal, which will make it more, how do I want to say, look more realistic than if you just go and paint those cracks in.
Yeah, well, that's a great idea. I'm struggling with that exact problem right now, so I'm going to go fix it based on what I've learned today.
Yeah, so it's, this is all that original dark. And then, like I said, I'll spend time in there and just draw with my Q-tip.
Yeah.
And there's many times, I got one more to show you.
All right.
And then you'll understand where I go with this process. This has more paint on it, but it still has a long ways to go. So this is West Coast. Sorry.
We're getting a world tour today.
Yes, I got East Coast, West Coast. And I'll have to back up the camera. So East Coast to West Coast, this has more paint on it. This has got, oh my gosh, a lot of time left on to work with it. But the same, this is, I'm building up my paint now. Here's still some of the tonal part from the original, but now I started building up some paint. Here's the original tonal part that I love, that glow in there. So I've got to make sure I'm going to keep some of that. But, and then from the original darks, I just would leave some of that dark behind. So you negative think, I went backwards in my thinking. Instead of painting the cracks in, I knew to paint around the cracks. So it leaves the original color of your.
Well, and one of the things you taught me, which is on your video, is how to create those colors without using the colors we all typically use. And so that's something that they'll have to find out when they get your video.
Yes.
What's on there? Because the video is not Seascape, but the principles are all the same. So what kind of things do you get into on the video?
The video is it basically, I talked about that very much, that warmth in the front and then the coolness in the back. And I talked about the composition, because once again, if that first part isn't right, that last part isn't going to work.
Right.
So I talk a lot about that. I stress that. I stress do your drawings first. It's just old school. That's the way we all grew up. It's just go back to some of that old school thinking and do those sketches. And I talk about that. I talked about color mixing and how I really don't like the greens out there. So I've learned with black and yellows, and then I bend them with either a warm red or a cool red, and so, I talk about making my own greens, and especially my grays, because I do not like a gray in a tube. Nothing ever seems to be the same. So I've learned to make my own grays and tweak them the way I need them to be in my painting that I'm painting. So
well, I'll ask Christina to put a link to your video, Elegant Landscapes, in the comments section if anybody's interested in it. But it's a really terrific. And I'll tell you, I learned so much from you on this. Like I said, it changed a lot about how I paint. And I'm having great success with it. I'm still experimenting and learning from it, but it's really been life-changing for me.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
And we had a lot of time talking about Bill.
Yeah. Oh, he's lounging over here. He's just sitting here lounging.
All right. Well, Cindy, come on camera real quick so we can say goodbye. Hello, goodbye. Well, thank you so much for doing this today. It's really been a pleasure having you on. And yeah, applause. Everybody applause, thumbs up. That's terrific. All right. Well,
Everybody have a great day.
yes, and we put your website in the comments section, which is probably, what is it, cindybarron.com?
cindybarron.com.
All right. And we're going to see you on Watercolor Live in January, and probably a lot of other things that we've got going on here in the near future.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks, Eric. Have a great day.
Bye. That is Cindy Barron, and Bill Davidson hiding out in the background, which he does a lot, and which is great fun couple. All right, you guys. Well, that is Art School Live for today. I want to remind you guys that that we have, I mentioned Watercolor Live. We have just an incredible lineup of people coming up. Alvaro Castanet, Paul Jackson, Amit Kapoor. We also have Stuart White, of course, Julia Gilbert Pollard, Lori Goldstein Warren, and many, many more. Of course, Cindy Barron is going to be part of that as I think I lost you there for a second. I'm sorry about that. We love having you guys here. Thank you for tuning in today. Remember that Pastel Live is coming up in August. And if you want to learn pastel, there's a beginner's day. And if you want to join us for the whole thing, it's turning out to be quite the thing. It's got a great lineup and a lot of people. It's at pastellive.com. So I will see you tomorrow, 12 noon, here every day, every weekday at 12 noon. Keep your head in the game, stay positive, and keep painting. All right. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you, Cindy.